Picture a caveman, grunting, club in hand, pure survival mode. Now delete that image, because after the sun went down, your ancestors did something you probably did last weekend. They made music, they danced, they sang, they passed around a drink. And they painted the walls like it was a gallery opening. The so-called caveman never really clocked out of party mode. He just waited for night. 5 pieces of real archaeology back this up, plus one anthropologist who spent her career eavesdropping on campfires. One of them rewrites when music started. Another explains why your brain still craves the party. And one of them might be the real reason humans built civilization. Start with music. For decades we said music was a modern human flex, proof of our big brains. Then someone pulled a bone flute out of a cave in Slovenia called Dvje carved from a young cave bear's thigh bone with deliberate holes spaced like a recorder. Many archaeologists date it to roughly 43,000 years ago and argue it may have been made by a Neanderthal, not us, the species we call dumb brutes. If that holds, music didn't start with Homo sapiens. It started with our cousins. And the earliest undisputed flute we have comes from Hochla Fels in Germany, a swan bone carved with 5 holes, roughly 35,000 years old. Someone was playing melodies while the Ice Age roared outside. Here's the part that should stop you. Long before anyone carved bone, the oldest instruments were free. 2 hands clapping, a foot stomping, a voice humming, percussion needs no technology. That's almost certainly where it began, a beat made by the body in a circle for everyone. A flute isn't food, it isn't shelter, it's pure, unnecessary joy. Carved on purpose, tuned on purpose, played for people who couldn't eat it. That's not survival, that's a jam session. And music clearly mattered enough to carry into the grave. Small flutes and rattles have turned up in prehistoric burials. As if the dead were sent off with a song. That's not a tool for staying alive. That's a soul taking its playlist along. Music with no dancing is just a rehearsal, and the evidence says they moved. Cave paintings show human figures frozen mid-stride, arms thrown up, like a single frame caught from a dance. Anthropologists who live with hunter-gatherer groups today describe exactly this. A rhythm starts, a drum, a clap, a stomp, and the whole group joins in. Some researchers think this is why humans can cooperate in huge groups at all. The idea, often called the chorus hypothesis, says singing and moving together let early humans trust strangers. Music did the bonding that language alone couldn't. Children pick it up without being taught. Before flags, before anthems, before nations, there was a circle, a beat, and bodies moving as one. Ever felt closer to someone after dancing with them? That feeling is tens of thousands of years old. Comment circle if you felt it. They sang too. We know this partly thanks to anthropologist Polly Wiesner, who spent decades recording what hunter-gatherer groups actually talk about. During the day, around 80% of speech was practical. Where's the water? Watch that rock, move the camp. But at night, around the fire, it flipped. Over 80% of nighttime talk became storytelling, singing, dancing, and gossip. The fire didn't just keep them warm. It switched their brains from logistics to lyric. Singing around a fire is arguably older than language as we tweet it. Music and speech likely grew up together. And the night fire is where they practiced. The lullaby is the quiet proof of how old this is. Every culture on Earth sings to its babies. That can't be a coincidence. We invented separately 1,000 times. A shared lullaby is ancient, older than any written word, maybe older than many languages. Which is why a concert still hits different. Your wiring hasn't updated. It still expects a circle of light, a shared song, and a few hours with nothing urgent to do. No party skips the drinks. At Rakeh Cave in Israel, stone mortars roughly 13,000 years old held residue of a beer-like brew. Before farming existed anywhere, not bread first, beer first. Many archaeologists now think the urge for a reliable drink helped push humans toward agriculture. And it wasn't a one-time thing. Thousands of years later, The workers building the Egyptian pyramids weren't whipped slaves. They were fed by massive bakeries and breweries. Loaf after loaf, jug after jug. A crew that's fed and a little buzzed builds taller. Here's the softer truth under the joke. A drink in a circle lowers the guard. Anthropologists have long noted that shared drinking turns rivals into a group. For early humans living in bands that had to trust each other, the party wasn't a reward for civilization. It was the rehearsal for it. Alcohol wasn't the enemy of civilization. In a strange way, it helped build it. Beer built the pyramids. Change my mind in the comments. They drew. The caves at Chauvier and Las Coh in France hold animals caught mid-motion, over 30,000 years old, painted with a sense of life that still stuns. Some researchers point to sequences that mimic movement across panels, a prehistoric flipbook. And the handprints stenciled beside them, some tiny and child-sized, tell you this wasn't a lone genius. Whole families painted together. Art wasn't a luxury they earned after surviving. It was something they did while surviving, making a mark. Telling a story on a wall is just what humans do. And when music, dance, and paint happen in the same firelit space, that's not a hobby. That's a ceremony, the birthday of what we call culture. Next time you doodle in a meeting, you're in a direct line from those hands on the rock. Put it all together, the music, the dance, the song, the drink, the art, and you get the ancient after dark. Polly Wiesner's nights point at something bigger. Her work and others suggests hunter-gatherers had real free time, maybe 5 or 6 hours of it a day once the hunting and gathering was done. The night was theirs. Then, roughly 12,000 years ago, farming changed everything. The agricultural revolution traded that easy rhythm for endless tilling and harvest. Some historians call it history's biggest fraud. We got more food but far less life. We traded the firelit song for the modern schedule. But the instinct never left. Every concert you've been to, every bonfire, every karaoke night, that's the same software running on the same species under the same stars. Which would you time travel to? The flute, the dance floor, or the pyramid pub? Comment a number. So the next time someone calls our ancestors primitive, remember, they had the flute before the farm, the dance before the desk, and the song before the spreadsheet. They partied, painted, and sang, and they were, frankly, a lot more fun than we give them credit for. Which of these surprised you most, the Neanderthal flute or the pyramid beer? Drop a number in the comments and subscribe for more of who ancient humans really were.